Hello, for this demo, I just want to talk about some more advantages of TypeScript. And I'm just going to show that through a little application that I'm working out here using the demo or using Udemy course that I'm working on as my source code or as my source for all this information. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to, here on the left side in my browser, make a map of the world, and I'm going to use the Google Maps for that. And on that map, I want to map a couple entities on there. I'm going to map a user and a user's location and a company's location and some information about each. So pretty simple thing to do. Make a map a couple things on there, and I'm going to use TypeScript to do it. So first off, I'm basically referencing Google here. Um, Google Maps has a library that I can use. I did an install, npm install previously. I'm running this app here using something called Parcel, which I'm not going to go into in this demo. And I'm basically trying to reference it here in this browser. Doesn't show up yet because I need to go into an index.ts file here and reference it. So here I'm using a way of referencing it here, just calling a new on it, referencing it up top here. Sorry, not up top there. I'm referencing directly within the global mapping of the project. And I put a couple properties on here and it should show up if I refresh the screen. There it is. So nothing really difficult there. But one option that I could do and for using TypeScript is to, instead of, let's say we're going to be using this reference to this map here, and we want other users of this code to be able to call the Google Map code and just print something on there and do exactly what we want to do, which is just print it, plot a couple entities or several entities onto the map. And I don't want to make this map basically exposed to anybody that wants to use any feature that Google has. There's all kinds of things you can do with this library. So instead of doing that, I can come down here and say I'm going to have a custom map and wrap everything that does in the custom map. So instead of doing this, I'll comment that out. I'm going to make a custom map object, and I've created one here. I'm just going to create a class, export it, and I'm going to put the reference to the map in there, and I'm going to make a constructor, which basically does the same thing that we did in this page here. And that constructor should generate the map just like we're doing here. If I refresh the screen, there it is. Same thing. So what have we done? We basically used TypeScript's class option and making this type to wrap all the details of making a map or Google Map into a separate file, a separate class in this case, and it makes things much clearer in our client code, and nobody can make funny errors on it. Okay, so what's next? Next, I want to go ahead and mark the particular entities on there. And what am I doing? I said I'm going to mark something called the user and something called the company on there. And what can I do? I can basically add some methods into the map class that do that. I can say custom map dot add user marker and custom map dot add company marker, basic stuff. And I'd have to pass in a user and a company class that I would make, which has the attributes on there of where they should show up on the map and their name or whatever else I might want to put in there. So what I've done is I've created a user here, and I created a company here, and I just put like a name on there, and they're just lower locations that should show up on the map. And I generated just using a library called Faker, where that show up because they can show up in random places using Faker, just to make this a little bit funner of an exercise. I did that same thing with the company using Faker. So I have two classes for the user and the company. I can go up to the top and I can define them and I can call them here. Let's see, what am I missing? What I'm missing is I'm missing the implementation of the add user marker and the add company marker in my custom app class. So how can I do that? Well, I can just go ahead and add those two methods to my class, and using the details about Google Maps here. Again, I won't go into all this stuff, how you do it, but I'm pulling in information from the users that I put in these classes here, and I'm mapping them. So let's see if this works here for us. Got it. So now our user and our company are showing up here. Everything looks good. It's basically I accomplished what I wanted to. But what could we improve here with? I think I got an error here, but it might go away when I click. Yeah, it's gone now. So what could I improve? One thing I could improve is that I could. This looks like it's duplicate code here. It's doing the same thing. I wish I had just one method that does all that. So instead of writing two, I can just write one method here and get rid of these two. And instead of just pass in use a pipe and say it can be a user or a company, and it should work the same. Everything should work the same. It's just getting rid of duplicate code. The only problem is that here we're still calling add user and add user marker and add company marker. Here we're just gonna say add marker because it's just one method now. So that's a little nice. It still works the same, so that's a little bit of a nicer code base. But what else can we do in using some more of the features with TypeScript? We can avoid all these dependencies of calling user and company, referencing these types in here, because every time I create a user and a company up here, you can see that I'm referencing them up here. And let's say we wanted to add other things, whatever, a library or something, who knows, a school, and just other types that we want to plot on here. We would have to go into this class here every time we added other classes here, a library class, a school class. We would have to go and add them into our custom mapper too. So that's just messy, and it could cause bugs. So to avoid that type of thing, one of the benefits to using something called an interface would be to avoid referencing all those different entities directly in their classes using them. So here, what I've done is, instead of putting in the user and company, put in an interface that I'm going to call a mappable interface. And over here, I can define that interface up top here. And in the interface, I'm going to say everything that this method down here is using. I'm going to say, hey, it's got to have a location. Actually, this should be counted out. We're going to use that in a minute. And color. So, yeah, I think that's all I need to do. Come over here and see if it still works. Yeah, we still got everything working. So everything works the same, just using an interface. It's just a little bit cleaner, and it helps us to avoid dependencies that we don't want to get into. It's just a bunch of messy business. So what finally what's something that can be beneficial with TypeScript? We may want to print when you click on these things, we may want to say, what is what they are. Is this a user? Is this a company? And any other attributes about them. So here we can add a listener or something within Google Maps capable. So how would it know what to print there? Well, it would know what to print by basically calling a method within the entities that we have to tell what we should be printing out on the screen, and then here in Google Maps we can actually print it out here. Okay, so what are we going to print out? We're going to print it. What do we need to do? Why am I getting an error here? I'm getting an error because there's no method called mark content in our interface. So if I come up here and add a marker content, we should be good to go. And so far from this code and from here, I don't see any errors. I come over here and do a refresh. So I'm implemented this kind of content. It looks like it should work. Or click on here, nothing works. All right, so there is a problem. Well, that's one of the things that TypeScript can help us out with. Find errors before they happen, before we ship to production. Instead of export class here, we can put export user, export class user. We can put export class user implements mappable. Import that mappable. Sorry. And what that's going to do is going to give us an error and say, hey, we need to implement this marker content, which we did not do. I have it commented out here, in order for something to print on the screen, because this does not know what to print here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. We're using implement option with our class. So it's saying, hey, you got to be sure you're implementing, again, the method marker content in order for this class to be legit. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to implement it. I'm basically telling it, hey, if I click on it, print out these attributes. I'm grabbing some attributes from it up here. And if I come down here, I'm going to go ahead and comment that out and implement that. So my 2 errors went away. Got the screen refreshed. No errors in here that I can see. Everything looks good. Let's see if I click on that one. Here we go. It's giving me an attribute, the name of the looks like the name of the user. I can't actually click on that because it looks like just the random it was generated in the place that I can't click together. So here we got the company information on here. So that's exactly what we want. TypeScript kind of helped us out with little things here and there, and that's a couple more of the benefits of TypeScript. Thanks for watching.